We've seen how to make different kinds of bead stars, but here's a new one you just have to see. In this episode of TurboBeads, we're making another bead star, but this one's 3D. These 3D bead stars are great, look complex, but are pretty simple to make. So get ready for a tutorial that will hopefully fulfill your creative needs. Feel free to give this video a like and enjoy this episode of TurboBeads. Here's the list of everything you need to make the 3D bead star. The first thing we'll need is 4 feet of string and add 10 beads to the string, moving those beads toward one end of the string and tying both ends of string together with a square knot, forcing the beads in the shape of a pentagon. Basically, what we are doing to start this project is creating a Kandi Star, building around it, making it bigger and in 3D. Once the knot is tied, we will have one long end of string and one short end of string. We will add beads to the long end of the string and run the string through each bead point of the pentagon, adding 3 beads in between each point. Be sure that your string is ran back through this first bead point before adding the beads. Now that we have the string all set, you will add 3 beads to the string. When you have those 3 beads on the string, you will run that string to the next point of the pentagon. When you pull the string all the way through that bead point, the 3 beads will create a point of the star. Continue repeating these same steps when creating points of the star by adding 3 beads to the string and running that string to the next point of the pentagon, pulling the string all the way through, locking the 3 beads in formation. You will do this all the way around the pentagon until you have the shape of a star. If you haven't quite mastered creating Kandi Stars yet, I also have a more in-depth step-by-step tutorial to make things easier for you. But for now, we have this visual reference to make one. Remember, you will run the string through each point of the pentagon by adding 3 beads to the string in between each point, being sure to pull the string all the way through, nice and tight, creating the point of a star. Once you finish the 5th point of the Kandi Star, the string will be coming out of this bead. You will take the string and run it to these 2 beads, with the string coming out of the point of the star. Watch closely as they guide the string through these beads. Once you get the string through those beads, be sure to pull it tightly and all the way through. From this point, you can run the string in the same direction using this path of beads that create the outline of the star. This will reinforce the star, making it more firm. Once you've reached it back to this point, with the string coming out of this bead, this will set us up for creating new points of the star. Now we will take that same end of string and add 5 beads to the string. I'll be using red for this point. When we have those beads on the string, you'll run that string to the next point of the Kandi Star. When you pull the string all the way through that point, the 5 red beads will create a new point looking like this. Now that we've finished the first point and the string is coming out of this bead, we will once again add another 5 beads to the string. For this point, I'll be using orange beads. Now that we have the beads on that string, you will run that string to the next bead point of that star. Once you get that string all the way through that bead point and pull the string tight, the 5 beads should create a point. As you can see, these steps should feel pretty familiar. Let's go ahead and continue creating points around the star by adding 5 beads to the string. For this point, I'll be using the color green. With the beads added on the string, we'll run that string to the next bead point of the star, pulling the string tightly to create the point. Once again, this is exactly how it should look. With the string coming out of this bead, it's time to create another point. Remember, add 5 beads on the string, which I'm using the color blue for this point. Now that the beads are on the string, we will run the string through the next point. Be sure to pull the string all the way through nice and tight, and the 5 beads will create a point. As you can see, with the 4th point finished, the star should be coming along pretty nicely. Now, let's create the 5th point of the star. By now, you should know the steps in creating a point. I'm adding 5 yellow beads to the string. With the string coming out of this point and the beads are on the string, let's run the string to the next point of the Kandi Star, pulling the string all the way through nice and tight, and the 5 beads will create the point. This is exactly how everything should look so far. From this point, you can run the string through the beads that create the outline of this pattern to reinforce the star making the points of the star more firm. Once you've reinforced the star and have reached it back to this point, with the string coming out of this point of the star, you will take the string and add 5 red beads to that string. Now that we have the 5 beads on the string, with the string coming out of this point, we will run the string to the next point of the Kandi Star. That's this point here. When you get the string all the way through that point, pull the string tight. The bead should sit on top of the star, looking like this. With the bead sitting on top like this, it will sort of add a flare effect to the star, of course, giving it a 3D look. Let's continue adding the flare effect around the star. Since the beads on this part of the star are orange, I'm adding 5 orange beads to the string. With the beads on the string, we will run that string to the next bead point of the Kandi Star. When you get that string all the way through that point, pull the string nice and tight, and the beads should stack on top with the point as well. With these flared points, be sure to pop the beads in place to create the desired triangular shape. Once again, this is what it should look like. We will continue using these same steps when creating flared points of the star. Let's go ahead and add 5 green beads to the string. With the beads added to the string, you will run that string to the next bead point of the Kandi Star. When you get that string through that bead and pull the string nice and tight, those 5 green beads will create a flared point of the star. As you can see, with these first 3 flared points created, the steps should be pretty simple to understand. With the string coming out of this point of the Kandi Star, and this section is blue, we will add 5 blue beads to the string. With the beads added on the string, let's run the string to the next bead point of the Kandi Star, pulling the string tightly and all the way through that bead point until the 5 blue beads stack up, creating a flare point. With the 4th flare point finished, we are now ready for the 5th and final flare point of the star. As you can see, this is where the string is coming out and the section is yellow, which I'm sure by now you understand the concept. Of course, you will add 5 yellow beads to the string and run that string to the next bead point of the Kandi Star, pulling the string tightly and all the way through until the beads stack in place, creating the flared point. Now that the 5th flare point is finished, we are ready to step up a row. Since the string is coming out of this bead point, we will run the string through these 3 red beads with the string coming out of the top of the flared point. Watch closely as I guide the string through these beads. This visual reference should make things clear and easy to understand the path I'm using when guiding the string to these beads. Be sure to pull the string tight and all the way through these beads. Once you have the string coming out of this flared point, we will add a bead in between each flared point. Let's go ahead and take the string and add 1 black bead to the string. Now that we have the bead added to the string, we will run that string to the next flared point of the star, which is the orange bead at the tip. Watch closely as I guide the string to this bead point. Once you get that string all the way through the bead and pull the string tight, you will see the 2 flared points start to come together. This is what it should look like. Now that the string is coming out of this flared bead point, let's add another black bead to the string. As we did before, we're adding 1 black bead to the string. Now that the bead is added to the string, we will run that string to the next flared bead point of the star, which is the green bead. Pull the string tight all the way through the point, and it will start to close in the gap. With the string coming out of this flared point, just as we did before, let's add 1 black bead to the string. Now that the bead is added to the string, we will run that string to the next flared bead point of the star, which is the blue bead. Remember, once you get that string to that bead and pull the string, the beads should start to come together. Since the string is coming out of this flared point, we're ready to add on another bead to the string. Now that we have the bead on the string, we're going to run that string through the next flared bead point, pulling the string all the way through, and again you'll see the beads come together. Leaving the string coming out of this flared point, we're going to add 1 black bead to the string. Now that we have the bead on the string, we're going to run that string through the next flared bead point, which is back to the red bead. Once you have that string all the way through that bead and pull the string tight, the beads will come together, completely closing the gap in between the beads. At this point, you can run the string through all of the beads again to keep everything tight and reinforced. After you've reinforced the center of the star, You will run the string through a number of beads, finding a path to meet up the strings back to the starting point. When you have the string back to the starting point along with the other end of string, you'll tie both ends of string together with a square knot, keeping all of those beads locked in place. Be sure that your knot is tied nice and tight, ensuring that everything stays together. After your knot is tied, you'll carefully cut off the tied loose ends of string, and your 3D bead star is now complete. And there you have it, another fine 3D bead design that wasn't too hard to make. Hopefully this tutorial was helpful and you can create one just as great. So what did you think about this design? You know I enjoyed your comments below. If there's anything you'd like to add, requests or suggestions, don't be afraid to say something as well. And if you are new, or you just haven't already, don't forget you can always subscribe if you want to be notified for more bead tutorials just like this one. Hoping you'll tune in for the next one and fulfill your creative needs. Until next time, reach for the stars. Thanks for watching TurboBeads.